When surveillance and harassment didn't stop the independent filmmakers, the trust turned to violence. They hired gangsters to burn down independent studios and destroy their equipment. They found that by shooting holes through the camera, they could stop their use, and that became their favorite method, filmmaker Alan Dewan said. Eventually, independent filmmakers hired gangsters of their own. According to Lemley, today's commonplace industry jargon meant something else entirely on a film set back then. When the present-day director instructs his cameraman to shoot, he probably does not realize that a similar order a couple of decades ago may have been taken literally, Lemley explained. A six-shooter was part of a cameraman's equipment in the early days. Independents were now hiring lawyers to beat the trust in the courts. But all of this was expensive and taking time away from making films. So many of the independent companies began to search for a new home where they could ply their trade without interference from Edison or the trust. That's one of the reasons most of us went to California and distant places, Dewan said. If a trust representative should happen to make the journey west, Southern California had the added benefit of being close to Mexico, where their patents were meaningless. Dewan felt secure in California. I had my 3 cowboys, the Morrison brothers, arm themselves with Winchesters, hire some other cowboys, and station them outside our area of work. So if anybody appeared carrying any kind of weapon, they were challenged by our people and disarmed. One day, a sneaky-looking character got off the train and asked to see the boss. Dewan suspected he worked for the trust. They walked to an arroyo, a little stream under a bridge, which was full of tin cans. To impress me, he whipped out a sidearm and fired at one of the tin cans in the arroyo. I immediately whipped mine out and fired, Dewan said. He missed his, but I hit mine 3 times. He turned around towards the depot and ran right into the 3 Morrison brothers with 3 Winchester rifles aimed at him. And he decided it was about time to leave town. Dewan's company wasn't bothered by the trust again. And then there were Al Christie and David Horsley and their fateful coin flip. Other film companies had established studios in downtown Los Angeles, as well as neighboring towns like Glendale, Santa Monica, and Long Beach. D.W. Griffith had even made a film in Hollywood, in Old California, 1910. But there were no studios in Hollywood. It was just a small town of God-fearing folk, once described by the Los Angeles Times as a place where the saloon and its kindred evils are unknown. The town had been founded by Harvey Henderson Wilcox, a wealthy real estate dealer and prohibitionist from Kansas, who arrived in Los Angeles with his wife Deida in 1883. After the death of their 19-month-old son, the Wilcoxes tried to console themselves by taking long horse rides throughout the Cahuenga Valley. They fell in love with an apricot and fig orchard and purchased it, as well as a few other tracts that brought their property in the area to a total of 160 acres. They called their ranch Hollywood. Expecting a land boom, in February of 1887, Wilcox submitted the plan for a new town to the Los Angeles County Recorder's Office. He hoped Hollywood would be a sober and vice-free Christian community, and the Wilcoxes sold parcels of land to vacationers and even gave them away for free to anyone willing to build a church. In 1903, Hollywood was incorporated as a city, and one of the new municipality's first official acts was to ban the sale of alcohol. But they didn't stop there. The city would soon ban gambling, pool halls, bowling alleys, oil wells, glue factories, bicycle riding on sidewalks, and speeding by car, bicycle, or horse. There was even a law prohibiting more than 2,000 sheep being driven through the streets of Hollywood at any one time. And they banned a popular new type of entertainment venue, the movie theater. But Hollywood's status as an independent city didn't last long. In 1910, lack of water forced Hollywood to be annexed into the city of Los Angeles, which brought an end to the movie theater ban. It didn't take long for a theater called the Idle Hour to spring up on Hollywood Boulevard. On October 27, 1911, Al Christie and David Horsley made it to Hollywood. They found themselves on a dirt road called Sunset Boulevard, searching for a place to set up their new film studio. At the corner of Sunset and Gower Avenue, Christie saw an abandoned roadhouse.